Friday forecast time, and for the first time in Friday forecast history, we're going to talk about Nebraska playing at Maryland. Sean, this is a big moment for you personally and professionally, isn't it?
Let me pull out my punch card here. I've got the Big 12 now and get that final Big 10 punch in there as this is number 13 for Nebraska. It's hard to believe either I'm old or experienced.
I think you're a little of both, actually. He's knocked off 2 of the 5 Power 5 conferences. Congratulations to you.
You're close.
This weekend. I'm very close, you bet. Maryland itself, kind of an interesting story. Mike Loxley's the new head coach there. Good start, terrible midseason. They've lost 5 in a row. What happened? What has happened with the Terrapins?
Well, I think early on, a new staff with so many different things brought in, teams like Townsend and Syracuse probably didn't have a great read on Maryland, and they took advantage of that. Then all of a sudden, that Temple game, they came back to life, and they really haven't rebounded since that loss to Temple. I mean, that I felt like that's when their season turned, but they're, like Scott Frost said this week, they're a lot like Nebraska. They're trying to start over, build anew. As we know, there was quite the scandal there, that led to the hiring of Mike Loxley and the previous staff being fired. But there was talent there. I mean, that Maryland team a year ago was talented. They had NFL players. They still have a few NFL guys on this roster, but I still think they're missing some key spots.
Yeah, they've lost 7 of 8 since that game against Temple. On the flip side, Nebraska, they've now dropped 4 in a row, but Saturday against Wisconsin felt a little different, didn't it? I mean, I think people actually had more hope leaving that loss than they did going into that loss.
Yeah, I think Saturday's Wisconsin game was kind of what you thought the Scott Frost era would be. Like, okay, even if we do lose to a Wisconsin on a year where they're better than Nebraska, because Wisconsin right now is better than Nebraska, that, you know what, we're going to still leave that stadium saying, you know what, our guys still fought there, you know what's off. And they put together a performance that everybody's like, it was respectable, Nebraska. And that's not a silver lining. I'm not trying to make a moral victory here, but it was a step forward in the context of where this season is right now and where Wisconsin's season is at this point.
And talking about Scott Frost, when he said after the game Saturday, he said it again Monday, you hold a team under 30 points. He likes his team's chances to win that game. They have yet to do that in the last 4 games, which is why Nebraska's on a 4-game losing streak. This Husker defense has to play better.
Yeah, there's really 2 key numbers, Andy. 450 yards of defense and 30 points. If Nebraska holds people under 30 and under 450, the chances of them winning is like 80 to 90%. And the numbers kind of bear that way from what we've seen in the Frost era. And even the Purdue game, a loss on the road that a lot of people thought they should have won, until that quarterback kneel down, they were at 450 yards and 31 points.
One of the bright spots from Saturday, I thought, was Adrian Martinez playing with conviction and some decisiveness. Scott Frost saying he looked like the Adrian Martinez that we all expected him to look like.
Yeah, I think the key is the rhythm of the offense. When they get a running game going, where you have a running back that's getting you a consistent 8 yards or so a carry like they saw Saturday from Dedrick Mills, all of a sudden the O-line looks better. All of a sudden Adrian Martinez looks better. The receivers are getting more open because the run is being accounted for more. But when you're struggling to run the football, everything else struggled with it. And I think Saturday for Nebraska to go for over 300 sack-adjusted rush yards. I'm taking away those sacks. Those don't count in the productivity of the running game. To go for over 300 against a defense only giving up 84 a game, that was outstanding.
We also found something in Dedrick Mills, did we not?
Yeah, I think once he gets reps and carries, he kind of gets better as the game goes. And you cannot arm tackle Dedrick Mills. Wisconsin had 18 missed tackles in that game. Dedrick Mills himself avoided 11 tacklers, and he didn't really shake him. He just ran right through him.
Scott Frost on the road, historically, 1 out of 8, or 1 out of 9, basically. He's 1-8 on the road. What's it going to take Saturday in Maryland?
Well, this is just the 3rd time he's favored on the road. They were favored at Purdue, I believe, slight favorites in that game, and then obviously this one and then Illinois this year. So Nebraska about a 4-point favorite here early in the week at this point. I think the key is, can the offense keep that rhythm and strike early? Because I don't think Maryland's a team that has it in them to go through some adversity. Give them the adversity. I don't expect the crowd to be much in there. In fact, I talked to one Maryland beat writer this week. He said there might be 5,000 Terrapin fans in that stadium, and he wasn't exaggerating. And I think you're going to see a ton of Nebraska fans there. This is the Skybox trip for Nebraska. You're going to have a lot of boosters in and a lot of other people. So I think just with the amount of Husker fans in that stadium, hopefully that creates some energy for the Huskers.
Well, it's going to be fun. Nebraska at Maryland. Nebraska still having that bowl hopes alive. They got to win their first 2. That means Saturday is a must-win in College Park. It's a 2:30 kick. It's on the Big Ten Network.